Welcome to FRCMedia News for Thursday, August 5th, 2021. I'm Keith Tebow. Cases of COVID-19 are again on the rise in Fall River and around the country. We get a detailed update on what it means from Dr. Aaron Bromage of UMass Dartmouth. The CDC has reinstated the Evictions Moratorium. We look at the issue through the eyes of landlords, and we remember the life of Low Price Lenny Kaplan. All this and more coming up. The COVID-19 pandemic is not lessening its grip on Fall River or the country. Here are the latest local numbers as of last Thursday, July 29th. There were 57 new cases of COVID-19 in Fall River last week, up from 34 the week prior. 14,442 cases have been confirmed since the onset of the pandemic. On the vaccine front, 52% or 46,406 city residents have received at least one dose of the vaccine, with 47% or 42,244 residents fully vaccinated. An update on both cases and vaccinations is expected later today. You can find out the latest on our webpage, frmedia.org/COVID vaccine. The best way to find out where to get the vaccine in Fall River is through its vaccination webpage at frvax.com, or you can call 833-8VAX-NOW or 833-882-9669. You can also visit the state's portal at vaxfinder.mass.gov. You can also dial 211. In many instances, walk-ins are welcome. So with the increase in the number of COVID cases, what does it all mean in terms of the spread and the effectiveness of the COVID-19 vaccine? Dr. Aaron Bromage, Associate Professor of Biology at UMass Dartmouth, joined us this week and says the uptick in cases is caused by the Delta variant of the virus, one that's more contagious.
What we're looking at now is where originally the original variant, one person would have infected about 2, maybe 3 people. Then we had the Alpha variant that originally described in the United Kingdom that could infect maybe 3 to 4 people. This one is close to 4 to 6 people. They did talk about getting up as high as 9 people, but I think the circumstances need to be really unique for that to actually happen. So we're looking at one person infecting 6, and why that matters is 1 infects 6. Those 6 infect 6, so we're up to 36. And then those 6 infect, and those 36 infect another 36, and it gets really big really quick. That's why we're seeing Delta move through the community much faster, even though we have high vaccination rates.
Dr. Bromage says even though there have been more infections, the impact is still low for those who have received the vaccine.
Our problem at the moment is, it's not trying to label unvaccinated and vaccinated, but as long as we make it easy for the virus, which is an unvaccinated host, we're allowing it to just roll through the community. And then when a infected person, particularly an unvaccinated infected person, gets into an enclosed space it doesn't matter if they're unvaccinated or vaccinated, they're putting out a large amount of virus, and that can actually break through the wall of immunity. So immunity is not binary. It's not immune or not. It just enhances or increases your ability to fend off an infection, but at some stage it can be overwhelmed. But it's important to realize, yes, when you are vaccinated, you can be infected. But the really important thing is at what rate compared to being unvaccinated. And the general side of things looks like you've got about an 8 to 50-fold increase in protection compared to an unvaccinated person.
Fall River and Bristol County lag behind the rest of Massachusetts when it comes to the number of residents vaccinated. Dr. Bromage feels even though we have hit a plateau in the distribution of the vaccine, there are signs of hope that more people will get the shot.
In the next 2 weeks, we would expect full FDA approval of the vaccine. That was announced last night. Dr. Fauci talked about it. We're seeing that it's really going to move through now a bit faster. So that will give some people a little bit of confidence that it's no longer experimental, but it's approved. But getting fully approved vaccine also gives employers cover to mandate it in the workplace. And I can tell you from previous experience with this particular pathogen, when an employer mandates the vaccination, the resistance to getting vaccination goes away because people want that job. And so I've seen organizations that had 150 people, 21 of them not vaccinated, employer mandated. We only have one person unvaccinated, and it was for a medical reason. So I think we're about to see a tidal wave of employers, of organizations saying vaccination is required to work here or attend here, with the only exceptions being religious and medical, depending on which state that you live in.
As we exit summer and head into the fall, will we see another surge in COVID cases as people move indoors and the weather cools? Dr. Bromwich says expected in November.
We should not expect a surge like we saw last November through to February. That was, unvaccinated population. The only real protection that we had there from a physiological basis was previous infection. This time around, the vaccination side of things, the very high levels that we have here, is going to blunt the surge that we have. And so it's just a matter of how high this actually gets. I do see extra mandates coming in, masking. There might be vaccination mandates coming to try to control that surge in November. But I think that if I was a betting person, crystal ball, November in New England, December, January, we do need to be mindful of what's happening there and not let it get out of control.
Dr. Bromwich says the vaccine is still extremely effective in reducing the onset of infection and minimizing symptoms for those who do get sick. The vaccine discussion will soon move toward the need for a booster sometime later this year.
People that got, say, the J&J vaccine, I think we're going to find that there is a recommendation that people that got the single J&J go out and get a single shot of a Moderna or a Pfizer vaccine to boost them from 77 up to 95%. If that was me, I would be doing it in September, October to give me the best immunity I possibly can have to get me through November, December, January, February. And then people that had the mRNA vaccines, I tend to think we're going to see a recommendation for boosters for people that are immunocompromised, that are maybe organ transplant, definitely people that are over the age of 60, 65. There's going to be some sort of age they pick. Anyone above that, we recommend a booster shot in. And again, I think that will be around about September. They're asking it so that you actually have peak immunity, which occurs about 2 months after vaccination. You have peak immunity starting in November. For the rest of us that are otherwise healthy and had our shots in March, April, May, I don't see the need, based on the data we're seeing now, for a booster at all. Yes, it does drop down, but that's expected. And we're really trying to stop mild, moderate, severe disease, and they seem to still be doing a really remarkable job.
Reports have focused recently on the increase in eviction filings on tenants who are behind on their rent caused by the pandemic. The CDC this week extended the moratorium on evictions for cities like Fall River until October 1st. Last month, the city dedicated $1.5 million in COVID relief funds to help tenants and landlords pay for back rent. Mayor Paul Coogan says renters will now have more time to get help.
The evictions right now going through Catholic Social Services are on pause, and people do need an eviction notice to get the support from Catholic Social Services. We heard a couple of things yesterday that we're going to have to follow up on today about paperwork or not having the proper documentation. I mean, obviously this program is designed to help people by giving landlords the money they owe for rent, which then we hope keeps people in their houses. I think the pause gives us more time to refine the program, but at the same time, we don't want people out on the streets. We don't want people losing their homes, and we're going to work with Catholic Social Services to make sure we dot all the I's on this so that we're ready when this moratorium is eventually lifted.
When it comes to evictions, landlords are often labeled as the bad guys. They say the truth is that they've also paid a price during the pandemic. Landlords is a trade organization that works with landlords across the Commonwealth. Executive Director Doug Quattrochi says there are over 70,000 mom-and-pop landlords that have also had a difficult time making ends meet through the pandemic.
During the pandemic, I mean, mass landlords didn't advocate against an eviction moratorium because it was a terribly frightening time and something had to be done to say, okay, everybody stay put until we figure this out. But what we needed to follow up the moratoriums with was rental assistance very quickly because, for instance, although a lot of small businesses got access to Paycheck Protection Program loans, landlords couldn't get that because we don't have W-2 employees. And although a lot of homeowners got mortgage forbearance, landlords couldn't get that either, mostly because we had to live in the building. And a lot of us own the building across the street or on the other side of town. And under mass law, landlords are required to make repairs, even if the rent's not coming in. We have to provide a safe and sanitary home for our customers. And that's very difficult for a lot of people who didn't have savings because suddenly you've got to pay all these bills, mortgage, taxes, insurance, make repairs, and everybody's out of work. So there's no rent coming in.
Quattrochi says while landlords and tenants have suffered, it's all came combined with the rising price of home ownership, sending rents out of reach for some tenants and forcing landlords to use their supply to meet a housing shortage.
What we're seeing in a lot of places, Lawrence, Chelsea, Worcester, rents are anywhere from 5 to 10% higher across the entire state outside of Greater Boston. And it points to the number one policy failing of the Commonwealth over the last many decades. We do not permit the construction of new housing, and we don't allow the subdivision of existing lots and structures. We just have really tight zoning controls. We had a housing crisis before the pandemic started, and the pandemic has just really put a spotlight on it. There are too many people who want to live in Massachusetts for the amount of housing that we permit. It's a great place to live. So we'd really like to see minimum lot sizes go away. We'd like to see zoning allow 2 units or 3 units. If you've got an existing structure, you should be able to split that. And until we do something really long-term like that, it's going to continue to be the case that a lot of folks are just really priced out.
Despite what has been reported in the media, Quattrochi says eviction filings across Massachusetts are at the same level as they were pre-pandemic, but with Fall River and Bristol County seeing marked increases. He says more needs to be done to encourage tenants and landlords to take advantage of available federal and state housing assistance.
We've been concerned for a long time that the southeastern part of the state, in particular Bristol County and Fall River, keep showing up as areas where there are a lot more eviction filings than you would expect, given the number of people and the amount of rental assistance available. So I mentioned earlier, I think that we had $1 billion with a B dollars of rental assistance available, but we only paid out $191 million as of end of June. So we're sitting on roughly $800 million, and a lot of these applications are timing out. So we'd really like to know, are applications timing out like disproportionately frequently in the Fall River area such that we could get in there and fix some part of the process that's broken to reduce this number of filings and make it more consistent with what we see elsewhere in the state. So it is still an open question, and I'm glad that you're interested in it and helping folks become aware of it. I would say the number one message for people, and maybe it hasn't got to Fall River very well, but whatever language you speak, call 211 if you can't afford to pay the rent, and they'll point you to a rental assistance application in your language. Almost certainly, we've got so many different languages and translations available. So there could be reasons why people haven't got the message yet in Fall River. I think the word is out there, but that's a really powerful tool the state has, this 211 number. And so I hope everybody who's listening to this can remember that and tell others about it.
As the country and region continue to recover from the pandemic, most landlords are looking to come to an agreement where tenants can afford their rent and landlords can get paid.
So if any landlord has the ability to be flexible on conditions, on payment terms, obviously we do that. And that's something that we're going to continue to coach members on. And of course, it's always helpful if you can avoid court to do it. There's a wonderful service available through the Mass Office of Public Collaboration where you can get community mediation. You don't have to go to filing in court, and you can talk to your renter with a third party there to keep the conversation going in a productive direction. So basically, any kind of dispute that you have with a renter or that a renter might have with the landlord is resolvable in some way where both parties can come out feeling ahead. So that's really the main thing here. Nobody has to feel like there isn't enough rental assistance because there totally is, or that the situation is hopeless because it totally isn't. We just have to talk to one another and work through it.
Mayor Coogan and an advisory committee he formed to how best spend American Rescue Plan Act funds will hold its second public meeting seeking input this Wednesday from 5:30 to 7 p.m. in the atrium at Government Center.
We'd like to get a few more business people involved. We don't want to hear from people that already made their pitch, which is obviously very, very important. And there's those answers are all being compiled now, and it was very, very extensive. But we do want to hear from some different people. We want everybody to have any opportunity to weigh in. And we want to see, like I said, which is the best way to go with this money to help the city of Florida. There's so many ideas, public safety, infrastructure, arts. There are things that need money, and we're going to do our best to support them. We're not going to obviously spend the money all at once, but we are going to go down the list of the allowable uses and make sure we target the money to areas that need support. And water and sewer being one of the first ones that will get a significant amount of the money, because that's the area where it seems like everybody tells you, make sure you put money into that.
We'll have more FRC Media News right after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the MassHire Fall River Career Center. Marketing and Customer Service Representative. Merrow, located at 502 Bedford Street, is in need of a full-time bilingual marketing and customer service representative, responsible for marketing campaign management, website content, inbound customer service calls, and overseeing external vendors and agencies. Job number 152-30692. Psychiatric Nurse Practitioner. Star Incorporated, located at 386 Stanley Street, is looking for a full-time psychiatric nurse practitioner, responsible for performing in-person and virtual assessments in ongoing psychiatric care. Job number 152-39066. Direct Care Staff Associate. Deaconess Home, located at 259 Prospect Street, is looking for a full-time direct care staff associate, responsible for providing primary support to youth and assist youth with daily living skills. Job number 152-07249. Market Basket, located at 600 William S. Canning Boulevard, has an immediate need for the following full and part-time positions. Front-end Associates, job number 152-60605. Cashiers and Grocery Clerks, job number 152-60607. Gold Medal Bakery, located at 795 Middle Street, also has an immediate need for the following full and part-time positions. Wrapping Trainee, job number 152-52602. Shipper Load Hauler, job number 152-52597. For more information on these or other positions, visit MassHire JobQuest at jobquest.dcs.eol.mass.gov or call the MassHire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Welcome back. The Troy City Titans are at the halfway mark of their 2021 East Coast Football League season. The Titans are 2-4 and will likely need to win the rest of their games to earn a spot in the playoffs. Head coach Anthony Comer tells us this has been a challenging season with the team still looking to gel.
Some of these guys that are on our team this year, they're brand new with zero semi-pro experience, and they're learning that this isn't just backyard football, that some of these guys that they're playing against, have real life skills when it comes to playing football. Some got NFL background, some have, big college background. Like the team we just played, the kid that played defensive end was at Boston College. He was a late round draft pick. So these are real guys that they're playing against. So they're learning. Going into this year, especially being off last year, I think our momentum, if we would have continued the first year, if COVID never hit, I think the momentum, especially with the city, everything would have came together really nice. We kind of lost track with a lot of people, like I said, because of COVID. Not a lot of people wanted to come out, but now things are starting to get a little better.
Comer hopes that as the team grows, so will its support from the city.
This will always be a soccer city.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. I shouldn't say unfortunately. Football is probably fifth behind badminton in this city. But we have a ton of kids from the Fall River area that we are giving them a different outlet. When this season first started, there was a couple of bad incidents that happened into the city. A couple people were shot and everything. Some of the guys on our team were family members of what happened. So, here we are getting these kids off of the street. And it's not like it's a fight with the city. It's just, we just want more of the city to come out and support the city. That's it.
The Titans still have 2 home games left in their season. They are happening the next 2 Fridays on August 6th and August 13th, with kickoff at 8 p.m. at Mac Aldridge Field at BMC Durfee High School. Work continues on growing the arts in Fall River. The One South Coast Chamber and the Fall River Arts and Culture Coalition are awaiting the results of a study to see how best the city can get involved in growing the arts locally.
There's been a couple surveys that were done 5-7 years ago, and by the Community Foundation, and a lot of crossover in some of the topics. There's just housing is an issue, which a lot of people, when you're looking at an arts and culture survey, you don't realize it, but housing is an issue for artists. But it's filling vacant stores. It's utilizing arts and culture to really create momentum in the community, which we've done. We've got a lot of great stuff happening, and it's crossover with the city, crossover with lots of different organizations. But we've been helping the city when the city's been doing their drive-ins. FRAC has been a part of that. The Narrows is sponsoring free Wednesdays in the park, and it's going around the city in all the different parks. The Narrows is the leader in that, but Fall River Arts and Culture, and of course the Narrows is a big member of Fall River Arts and Culture. So we're working on a lot of things like that, but we're excited for the plan, which is really focusing on the long term.
The results of the study are expected later this fall. Finally, this week, we look back and remember the life and the impact of a true Fall River icon. Low Price Lenny Kaplan passed away over the weekend at the age of 91. He was the longtime owner of the gob shops across our region and was a dedicated cheerleader and supporter of all things Fall River. He also pioneered the Miss Senior Sweetheart pageant that made women who were, quote, pretty old feel, quote, very special. Lenny never went anywhere without his signature kazoo and was, without a doubt, a crowd pleaser. Here's an example.
Well, it looks like the piano hasn't been moved, so, ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't going to do it this year, but it looks like I'm stuck. Let's go in key or whatever. I'm looking over the bridge that crosses over from Fall River to Somerset. It leads you over to one nut of a guy who's always got that gleam in his eye. Oh, they call me Low Price, a name that's just right, 'cause I'm the guy almost gives away all the stuff at gob shops and Westin Auto. At least a free smile every day. Once more, I usually play the kazoo now, but would you believe I forgot my kazoo? Oh my God. And with that, let's hope the piano player's ready. Da, 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 da. Somebody's got one? I can't see, it's dark. Oh, hey.
It's the young helping the old.
Now I'm going to play it backwards. At least a free smile every day. At least a free smile. Dum-bum. Yeah.
Low Price Lenny, thank you and rest in peace. We'll wrap up FRC Media News right after this.
Hi, welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. Today we've got Romeo here. Romeo here's having himself a nice sleep. He recently got neutered, that's why he has the little satellite dish on his head there. He is about 1.5 years or so, tabby and white, as you can see. He came to us originally as an owner surrender. He's a pretty mild-mannered dude. We've got him here in the community room, so he is good with other cats. Older children should be fine. In terms of the atmosphere of the home, the energy of the home, that kind of stuff. Your everyday, comings and goings kind of home would be fine. I would call him your average handsome cat. So if you'd like to meet Romeo, you can come down to 300 Linwood Street, Fall River, Massachusetts, at Forever Paws Animal Shelter.
Today with us we have Caleb. He is a 4-year-old German Shepherd. He was an owner surrender. With these breeds though, it is hard to tire them out, so they do have a lot of energy. He is still very young, so he still has quite a bit of energy. He's very happy-go-lucky though. He gets along with everybody. Even the first day I met him, he came and jumped on me to give me a hug. Sit. Good sit. Paw. Good paw. Okay. Down. You don't know that? So he does know sit and paw. He will pick up on other things if you wanted to teach him more. So come down and meet Caleb. If you would like to meet him, you can call Forever Paws Animal Shelter to make an appointment. We are located at 300 Linwood Street in Fall River, Massachusetts. And you can also get all of our information on foreverpaws.com. We know Caleb would love to meet you.
That's all for this edition of FRC Media News. Please check out our website, frmedia.org, for all the latest news and information. FRC Media News airs Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. We leave you this week with a look back at last weekend's opening of the city's family picnic area at the old Dave's Beach site on the South Watuppa Pond. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next Thursday.
Well, welcome everybody to the Fall River Family Picnic Grove. Since 1996, I've tried to come up with getting back our waterfront area. I've got to tell you, this mayor gave me the okay, and we have something great for the people of Fall River. And I want him to say a few words.
Obviously, everybody's here today to kick off this great picnic area. I think this is going to be an area where the residents come out, have a picnic, maybe use a little bit of a fishing pole and have some laughs, and that's what this is all about, making sure the residents have a place where they're comfortable and they can enjoy the day. So I appreciate all the crowd here today, and I'm glad you came out. We're going to dedicate this right now. You cut it. You cut it. You cut it.
Yeah, cut it.
You did all the work. Linda, you got to cut it. There you go. Thank you, Linda.